Did I read? Hi friends, I can't believe October is coming to an end and I literally go home in 3 sleeps. I've feeling a bit sad today. I saw some of my friends and I'm seeing them tomorrow, but I'm just feeling a bit like, oh, it's coming to an end. Anyway, I'm going to talk about the books I read in October and kind of do mini reviews. I'm going to do a separate TBR for next month. So let's dive right in. Oh, I thought because it's Halloween I dressed as Wednesday Addams for these videos. In case you didn't get the memo. I spent the first little bit of the month reading The Devil's Thief by Lucy Maxwell, but at the moment it's kind of a DNF. I had a book club book and I had some other spooky reads that I wanted to finish, so I put that one on hold and I jumped straight into The Year of the Witching. That was our book club pick for The Bad Witches Read. Now we ended up having some technical difficulties and weren't able to do a YouTube live, so we ended up doing an Instagram live and discussed it. For me, The Year of the Witching was really good. It was better than I expected. I ended up giving it a 3.5. Basically the premise or the synopsis of the book is it's kind of set, in my mind it's set in the fucking 1800s and it's kind of in like a cult-esque town. They're all very religious and there's this girl who's a bit different from the rest of them, who kind of tries to break free and kind of save the town from themselves in a way, I guess. And it's got to do with witches and ghosts and stuff like that. I really liked it more than I thought I would. It kept me really intrigued the whole time, and there was definitely some spooky moments throughout the book. I thought it was going to be scarier than it ended up not being. That sounds really bad. It wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. There was definitely some moments I felt a bit creeped out, and it was a bit gory, but I was more creeped out. It's very religious. I'm not a religious person. I think if you're quite anti-religion or stuff like that, you might struggle. I surprisingly didn't struggle as much as I thought with that, but the creepiness was more to do with that than with the witches and like the spookier sides of the book. It kept me intrigued about what was going to happen, but it was one of those books that I felt, without spoiling it, that it built up and then it kind of just ended really quickly. So yeah, I did kind of have, it was a bit anticlimactic for me. I gave that one a 3.5. It wasn't quite a 4, but it wasn't quite a 3 either. So yeah, it's very feminist and there's a lot of relevant themes throughout the book. I would definitely suggest giving it a go, but yeah, if you're quite anti-religion, perhaps not. As a part of my spooky reads, I have a reading vlog about all these books also. But as part of my spooky reads for October, I also read Paper Girls, which is a graphic novel or comic set in the 80s on Halloween, just after like Halloween morning, the morning after Halloween, I think. And it's about these girls who deliver the papers in their town, and I guess you could say it's kind of apocalyptic. All these things happen without spoiling it. It's my first try at reading anything like that, and I guess I kind of went into it thinking it was going to be more of a book. Stupidly, like I was speaking to Steph about this, and my reason for giving it a 3 was I didn't like how, you know, nothing was really explained and it was just kind of like all happening and nothing happened. But she's like, you know, it's a graphic novel, it's meant to try and keep you reading and keep you getting the next one. So it's not like a book where it's like, even if you have multiple books in a series, it's not maybe going to have that, you know, beginning, middle and end. So I think it was definitely intriguing enough for me to want to keep reading. But yeah, for me, like I swear a lot, I am pretty vulgar in some ways as an Australian, but some of the language that was used I didn't like. It was, you know, words like faggot and something like, again, it said, I mentioned them in my reading vlog, but she says stuff like they're gonna rape your face, and it was just a bit intense for me. I liked that they swore in it, kind of like Stranger Things, but it was some things that were a bit too much for me. And my last of the spooky reads was The Long Walk by Stephen King. I don't have any of the books because I've packed them away in my suitcase. So I'm just gonna put images up of the books, but yeah, it was The Long Walk by Stephen King. It's my second time reading a Stephen King novel. I have read it before, 5 stars, loved it. This one was a bit different. Basically, this book is about, I don't know when it's set, it's never explained, but it's about this event that happens each year in this world where 100 boys do the long walk, and it's basically like you walk until there's only one man standing. You get 3 strikes, and if you get your 3 strikes, you're out. So yeah, it was kind of a different concept. It kind of gave me Hunger Games vibes in a way. I don't want to spoil it too much, so I won't say too much on this one. Again, have my reading vlog if you want my thoughts, like spoilery thoughts. I'll link that. But how can I say without spoiling? I just think the idea of the book was good, but I think it lacked. Basically, it's their choice to do this walk, right? So in the Hunger Games, it's kind of, you know, upsetting and a bit exciting, I guess, because they don't have a choice and you feel really bad for them, and you know, it's not fair. Whereas in this, it's a voluntary event, and I think for me, I struggled with the fact that that was happening and they would put themselves through that in a way. It was really good. It kind of touched on like them being kind of like children being a bit naive in the beginning, and then as it went on, they kind of were like, what am I doing? So it kind of touched on like life and death and friendship in a way. It had moments that I really liked, but to me, it was just a bit mundane. It was just them walking for the whole book. I think it could have been a lot shorter book. It was almost 400 pages, I think. And the ending just let me down. I was really disappointed with the ending without spoiling it. I rated it a 2. So it's not like I would recommend reading it. It's not bad. It's just, it was too many factors. Like I struggled. It took me 3 hours to read the last 30 pages. And then I was so mad at the end. So yeah, it's my lowest ever rating so far. I do want to try and read more Stephen King in the future, but yeah, it just didn't quite get there. I have also started reading Serpent and Dove. I'm about halfway through that. I wanted to try and finish before this video, but I've been really busy packing to go home, and just haven't had time. So I'm hoping to try and finish it tonight. But that's what I read in October for Halloween, the spooky ass vibes. All of those were kind of out of my comfort zone and not something I'd normally read. I think if you've been following me on here or on Instagram, you know that I'm more of a romance girl. I'm more of a contemporary person, so these were really out of my comfort zone, but I'm really glad I gave them a go, and I think it will definitely mean that I try more like that in the future, and probably I will rate them higher as I go along, because I'll be more used to those types of books. But yeah, let me know what you read in October, and I'll post a TBR probably right after this. Bye. Happy Halloween!